Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room, and we're wrapping up Respighi. Oh my goodness, we had so much Respighi, and big clump to finish. Here it is. This is the final Respighi clump. So let's put it down to one side. There we go. Make ourselves comfy. And we can have a throw at a lot of Respighi. Now, we did his operas. We did the ballets and some very interesting pieces. And there's some more of them in here. But also a lot of same old, because that's what we listen to Respighi for. First, we have Pines, Festivals, and Fountains of Rome on Everest with Eugene Goossens doing Festa and Malcolm Sargent doing the rest. These were recorded sometime in the 50s or something like that. They are sort of brutal, raw, screechy recordings. One is with the London Symphony. They're all with the London Symphony, actually. And they are loud and unsubtle and fun. I mean, I enjoy this recording, but it's not going to win any awards for finesse. Let's put it that way. Then we've got, these were old Marco Polo things that were moved to Naxos, I think. Although this one was from 94. Was this originally Marco Polo? No, it looks like this was originally Naxos. I don't know. Does it really matter? Who cares? We've got the Piano Concerto in A minor. Nobody knows that. People know the Concerto in Modo Missolidio for piano and orchestra, but, not this one. And the Toccata, which is a big, huge 20-minute, extravaganza for piano and orchestra, and the Fantasia Slava. Now, the Concerto in A minor is from 1902. It's one of his early works. The Fantasia Slava is from 1903, and the Toccata is from 1928. All with Konstantin Sherbakov on the Slovak radio under Howard Griffiths, who has become a stalwart, Howard Griffiths has, of CPO and Hyperion and those kinds of labels too. Then we've got Pines, Romans, Fountains, Festivals, what do you call it here? The Pini, the Fontana, and the Festa Romane with Ormandy and Philly. Classic recordings. They were very famous in their day. I don't find that they've held up terribly well. And I dislike the fact that Ormandy, cuts out half the percussion at the end of Festa Romana. They're beautiful. They're beautifully played, of course. Not fabulously well recorded. And, I'm not as fond of them as I used to be. They were part of the Respighi album. Remember that? They had all kinds of other stuff with Ormandy that was more interesting, including a slam in church windows. That was the thing to get, not those things. Anyway, this is the Muti Philly Roman trilogy. This is marvelous. I mean, the sonics, again, they could be a little bit better, but it's just a knockout performance. I mean, this is what I wish Ormandy would have done, but we don't care because Moody did it. So that's exciting. Then Enrique Batis. Oh, this is loud. My goodness, this is not perfectly played. It has its little rough bits, but it's one of those set up the mics and let them all go crazy, and they do with the Royal Philharmonic, and it sounds really, really great. It's a big, huge, totally over the top performances. Really, really fun. Dutoit and Respighi. Now these got tremendous amount of attention when they first came out because the Decca Digitals in Montreal were supposed to be such a big deal. I was distinctly underwhelmed by lots of them, particularly their Ravel, except for the Daphnis, which was marvelous. But the rest of it, and that's how I felt about a lot of what they were releasing, including these. I mean, they were sort of bright and steely. There was the most wonderful organ pedal at the beginning of the march in the Pines of Rome, at the moment where the brass come in with do 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 do, quietly. And I remember, hearing audiophile systems, people would say, "Oh, listen to that organ pedal." And you hear that thing throbbing, and it was wonderful. But after the organ pedal, it was just sort of quick and efficiently dispatched, but not terribly exciting. Collins Classics. We have the Boticelli pictures, and Aretusa with Dame Janet Baker. There was nothing like a dame, I mean, she was wonderful. This is with the City of London Sinfonia and Richard Hickox. This was right at the end of her career. and the Lauda per la Natività del Signore, which is one of the most beautiful Christmas works that nobody knows. It's absolutely delightful. It's for chamber orchestra ensemble, and let's see, 3 soloists, and it's really, really wonderful. You should hear it if you don't know it. And Il Tramonto, which is also with Janet Baker. That was for orchestra and string quartet that was also inflated to string orchestra on occasion. A lovely, lovely disc, and not one of the more well-known bits of the Janet Baker discography or the Respighi discography. Heifetz doing what does he do by Respighi? He does the Respighi thing, the sonata in B minor for violin. Yeah, the violin sonata, along with Debussy and Ravel and other goodies, and Ravel Trio and Martineau and with Piatigorsky. And I mean, Heifetz did all kinds of cool stuff. He really did. His chamber recordings, some of them were just wonderful. So that I have. Because the Respighi violin sonata is not a well-known thing. Then we've got the Suite in E major, the Symphonic Variations, the Prelude, Chorale, and Fugue, the Burlesca, the Overture Carnavalesca, and all these other things. This is with Adriano and the Czechoslovak Radio Symphony Orchestra and Marco Polo. They did a lot of weird Respighi, a lot of unusual Respighi, and some early stuff and whatnot. This is really fun. So that's nifty. And the Brodsky Quartet doing Il Tramonto. Il Tramonto is quite famous, with Anne-Sophie von Otter, and the String Quartet in D major, which is a lovely work as well, from 1907, and the Quartetto Dorico from 1924. Wow. Did you know Respighi wrote all these pieces? The Dorico is gorgeous. It really is. And church windows, Brazilian impressions, and Roman festivals. I love it when people toss on Roman festivals instead of the usual Pine thing, because it's just so much louder. And if you have a really great recording, as you do on Telarc with the Cincinnati Symphony and Jesus Lopez Cobos, you're in business. Yeah, we really are. Dorati's famous Respighi on Mercury Living Presence, Fountains of Rome, Pines of Rome, Brazilian Impressions, and The Boyds. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Yeah, great. Classic Respighi. Oh my goodness, those were amazing. Again, the Pines and the Fountains, not so much, but all the other stuff is just delicious. What's this thing? Oh, baby, the Kemper Royal Phil Pines of Rome, which is a knockout. Absolutely wonderful, with the Roman Festival and the Fountains, with Massimo Friccia and the new Philharmonia on Chesky. This was really, really fun. The Friccia recording of Festa Romana is absolutely ear-splittingly vulgar and unsubtle and wonderful, because that's what the piece is. I mean, And the Kempa Pines was one of the great ones. I mean, Kempa was a chord guy. I mean, he was fabulous at big, colorful, showy, wonderful non-Germanic repertoire. Poor man. Anyway. Boston Symphony Nozawa doing the Pines, Festas, and Fountains. Beautiful recording. Absolutely lovely, gorgeous recording. And Andrew Davis and the Toronto Symphony. Oh boy. Doing La Boutique Fantasque, the ballet based on Rossini and Bizet's Jeux d'Enfants and L'Arlésienne Suite No. 2. An old Sony digital thing. Goodness gracious. I don't know why I kept that one, but I did. And then we've got Vladimir Ashkenazy with the Radio Philharmonic Orchestra of Holland on Exton, doing the Belphegor Overture and the Suite from Belka's Queen of Sheba and Church Windows. Actually, these were not terribly interesting performances, as I recall, but they were stunningly recorded in their day. They were recorded in sufficient fidelity for us to understand that they're not particularly interesting performances. Sorry. But the repertoire. Oh, the repertoire. Then we've got this crazy Svetlanov one that we talked about before, where they all just go completely nuts. It's live and it's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying, of the Roman tone poems. This is the Scribendum reissue. God knows what the provenance of that thing was. Then we have the Japan Philharmonic with Junichi Hirokami on Canyon Classics, doing the big 3 tone poems. which I got again because the sound of these things was just so natural and marvelous, even if the performance lacked a certain amount of charisma, which they do. Hugh Wolf, my old Glee Club conductor, yeah, from the Johns Hopkins concert choir or Glee Club or whatever we were called back in the day, with the Trittico Botticelliano, Gli Uccelli, and the couple suites of ancient airs and dances. So the Botticelli pictures, the birds, I collect the Botticelli pictures. I am a sucker for the Botticelli pictures. I adore that piece. I think it's just marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. And I've never heard it live, actually. I've never seen anyone program it. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's wonderful. Spring and the adoration of the Magi and the birth of Venus. Venus on a half shell rising from the waves. It's just, incredible. So that's on Telarc, now Warner. It was beautiful. Then we've got the Paranoia series, or Panorama, as DG called it, doing bits of Respighi. And you got the Lauren Moselle Festa, the Lauren Moselle Pines, the early one with the Berlin Phil, which was the better of his two, and the Karajan Fountains and Dorati's Ancient Airs and Dances Suite 3, and the Dorati Brazilian Impressions, and Orpheus Chamber Orchestra doing the Birds, and Irmgard Seefried and Rudolf Baumgartner with Lucerne Festival Strings doing Il Tramonto. It's kind of an interesting collection, of like Respighi by different people. But here we've got Lopez Cobos and the Lausanne Chamber Orchestra doing the Ancient Airs and Dances and the Botticelli pictures. Yay! And last but not least, in our Respighi, this wonderful disc with Lopez Cobos in Cincinnati of transcriptions for orchestra, including the ballet La Boutique Fantasque, and best of all, really nifty, the Rachmaninoff 5 Etude Tableau, which you also heard done by A.G. Owe on reference recordings. I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. And the sea and the gulls, the first one, La Mer et la Muette, Les Muettes, pardon me, there's more than one gull running around, and a Little Red Riding Hood, and all kinds of cool stuff that Respighi orchestrated. Gorgeous, gorgeous work, as always by Respighi. He was like the Ravel of Italy, when it came to orchestrating other people's stuff. So there you have it. Respighi, lots of Respighi. Go forth and keep on listening. Thanks for joining me, friends. Take care.